Shalom, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai. I do all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the whole elect across the planet Earth, pushing this truth in the spirit and sincerity and the truth. I just want to get into reincarnation and the regeneration, because right now, because we've lived multiple lives, Jake, a little saying, an acronym that Jake was pushing a few years ago was called a YOLO. And that YOLO spirit, you only live once, which isn't true. You had multiple lives. You die, spirit will go up to the spirit world, receive your judgment, and then you come back to the planet Earth and play out your judgment, whether it's good or bad. Those spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. And everybody has their lot, in this life. But yeah, this is the reincarnation, regeneration. We live multiple lives, and right now we're in the time to where the judgment is going to come out. The elect, if their name is written in the book of life, they'll be delivered. The elect's name will be written in the book of life. It's just if you're a part of that number, will be revealed, in this time. Those that endure in the spirit unto the very end. The same shall be saved, and also the judgment of 2/3 of our people, catching that, being part of that second death, will happen in this time, as well as these other nations. The indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, as well. But for the first scripture is 2 Ezra 14:34. Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding, and reform your hearts and your mind, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy. And after death, obtain mercy. It's talking about, incarnation in this time, man. If you followed Yahushai, in the previous lives, you're going to follow him again in this time. You pray for that mercy that you endure unto the very end this time, man. For after death shall judgment come. Yeah, after death, and you die, get your judgment, you come back to the planet Earth. When we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifested, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. Yeah, so you go up to the spirit world, and you receive your judgment. And then you come back to the planet to play out, that judgment. This is Ecclesiastes 3:16. And moreover, I saw under the sun a place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So it's talking about earth, the place under the sun is earth. There's nothing new under the sun. On this planet Earth, everything is, reincarnated. So moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. So here, the place of this earth is for judgment. It's created for judgment. Just going back to 2nd Ezra, it said, and then it says, for after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifested, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. So we're in a time when the names of the righteous are be manifested. This is Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Yeah, so right now we're living in a time of Jacob's trouble. The Lord's really going to unleash that hell, man, that judgment on his people and these other nations. That time of trouble, such as never was since there was even to that same time, as such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, like, people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Yeah, the book of life, man. The elect's names are written in that book. And this time, they're going to be manifested, for that, for deliverance, to get beamed up into that chariot, man, to receive those new bodies and all that. The ones that endure to the end. They don't take, that mark of the beast. And they don't throw the chip or throw the truth behind them and give up and remove their hand from the plow. Yeah, this is Daniel 7 and 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and wheels as burning fire. So that's talking about the Most High, man, up in the spirit world, sitting on his throne. The Ancient of Days, talking about the Most High, Yahweh. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. And judgment was set, and the books were opened. So yeah, when you die, you go before the Most High, and you receive your judgment. Everything that you did was good or bad. If you did bad, that's when you're given your judgment. You play it out here on the planet Earth. So here it says in 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 5 and 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Yahweh Shai, and everyone may receive the things done in his body. Yeah, this terrestrial body that we're in on the planet Earth, your past life, what you've done, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. Yes, when you die, you go before Yahweh Shai, man. And that's when the judgment is said, and the books were open, all the things that you've done, in that past life. You murdered, committed adultery, blasphemed, whatever it was, man. Stole, steal, scamming, whatever you did, whether it be good or bad, you give an account for it before the Lord, man. And then you receive your judgment, and then you go back onto the planet Earth, 3 or 4 generations later, through your father's line, right? And then you play it out. That's why you got people, this old saying, why does God let bad things happen to good people? Well, they weren't a good person in their previous life. The little child gets ran over, by a truck, or gets mauled by a bear. That's that spirit receiving that judgment. Yes, so it says, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Yahweh Shai, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he have done, whether it be good or bad. Yeah, so the bad, but there's also the good, like the prophets, So 1 Corinthians 14 and 32, the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So all the prophets that you read about, the ones that are known, the ones that are unknown, the ones that are written about in the scriptures, the ones that are not written about in the scriptures, all those prophets are subject, those spirits are subject to the prophets. So you're coming back, in your lot, so to speak. Before you were in the truth, man, you had your mind set on doing who knows whatever, man. You're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a rapper, a ball player, or maybe you didn't know what you were going to do. Or maybe you were, a criminal. Who knows? But once you received, that, the spirit, once you heard the truth and you woke up, that's the Lord waking you up to this truth and this knowledge. And you said, well, this is the way, walk ye in it. You heard that voice in the back of your mind. This is the way, walking in it. It means you were called into this thing. Many are called, but few are chosen. The ones that are chosen are the prophets, his elect, 144,000. And the 1/3, says the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, whether it be good or bad. So what you've done good, push the word, you know, all the way to the very end. Maybe you're recorded in the scriptures. Maybe you weren't, but you that's a good thing. And then you received the judgment. You came back down. You became a prophet again, and ultimately you're going to receive a judgment if you're part of that elect. It says, it's Matthew 14 or Matthew 19 and 28. And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So you got the apostles, man, the main apostles, leaders of Israel, man. They're back here today. Some of them are back here, some of them are in the spirit world, Some prophets are still back here today, some in the spirit world. But if you followed Yahushua, the regeneration, back when he was on the scene, or before when Yahushua was on the scene, whenever, you followed him in the regeneration, then you're gonna, receive those crowns as well. Ezra said he saw Yahushua handing out crowns to his men. Joint heirs. You have there's gonna be that order. The Most High, Yahushua. You have King David, and you're gonna be 12 apostles, and then it's gonna trickle down, man, to the election, man. The joint heirs with Yahushua. But yeah, I just want to get into regeneration or the reincarnation. It's the same thing back in the body, because you don't only live once. The spirit never dies. The spirit, it remains forever and ever, man. The spirit is energy, yeah, but with that, Shalom.